to another episode of Who Would Win, a show that completely ignores anything important happening in the world and instead focuses on a fictional battle between characters from the worlds of comics, sci-fi, and fantasy. I'm your host, James Gavsie, and as always, I'm joined by the one and only Eric Holmes. In today's episode of Who Would Win, Marvel's explosive Cajun mutant takes on Mortal Kombat's legendary Cryomancer in a clash of speed, precision, and elemental power. In one corner, ripped by me, it's Gambit, of course, the charismatic X-Man whose mutant ability to charge objects with explosive kinetic energy is just pretty much awesome. I'm just gonna leave it like that. He's a master thief, etc., etc., etc. It's Gambit. He's awesome. And in the other corner, rep by Eric Holmes, it's Subzero, the legendary Lin Kuei Cryomancer, whose absolute mastery over ice allows him to freeze opponents in an instant in the absolute best way possible. That's why I love Mortal Kombat. As usual, I ran the patented Who'd Win Google test just to see how many times this matchup has been discussed, and this one's gotten a lot of attention. That one surprised me a little bit. I didn't know people would be that adamant. I think this has a lot to do with X-Men 97, where, you know, in season 1, Gambit kind of got offed, but maybe making a return in season 2. Spoiler alert. I don't know what's going on with this, but it's a crazy cool matchup. Eric, I got to know, what are your thoughts on today's battle?
To your point, this is how we find them. And it's Gambit and Sub-Z, and we're going to do the battle. But the fact that it's been discussed and people haven't entertained us, and we do, let's get into it.
You know what? I think you bring up a really interesting point, Eric. Like, when people have these debates, and again, just came from San Diego Comic-Con, people were doing the whole who would win debate thing without realizing it was who would win. I would remind them, by the way. And yes, they were just like doing these things. And I'm like, but you're not getting to a point. You're like, yeah, but Gambit does this. Yeah, but Sub-Zero does it. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not negating each other's powers or abilities.
We're walk them through a battle.
We're going through an actual battle. Yeah. There's a process to this. There's a whole thing. This is what is the beauty of the Who Would Win show. Speaking of the beauty of Who Would Win show, I'm just saying what other people are. Yes. Eric, when people come in the room, right, you're a good looking guy. I'm not bad looking, but compared to this guy, I don't know how we could even compare. You know what I'm talking about. It's the unofficial, hopefully official mayor of Beverly Hills. It's the unofficial yet should be official mascot,
yes,
and face of Erewhon. It's the person who walks in the room and says, wow, I want to be friends with that guy. It's the one, it's the only, it is Judge Tadeo. Judge Tadeo, welcome back to Who Would Win.
Oh, man, you know, the excitement that I get every time we step in this studio on these mics, it's like we bring live action energy to every episode. I mean, this is what Marvel, DC, and the whole Capcom and every video game company needs us.
Let's go.
It's the thing. Look, I actually have had some conversations. I've actually pitched the Who Would Win show as a TV thing. And of course, the first thing's like, really, how are you going to get Disney to relinquish rights to Marvel and then get Warner Brothers to say, yeah, you can use Batman? And by the way, which company is going to be okay with one of their characters losing? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, got it. And you're missing the point. Exactly. The point isn't the fact that one of these characters is going to win. We're creating a sport. We're celebrating everyone's fandoms. Yes. And regardless of whoever loses or wins, we celebrate these characters. That's why I think companies have to come together and do this. By the way, it would be massive. It would be, if Spider-Man is making $2 billion this weekend, which I think it will, what do you think Batman versus Spider-Man would do? Or Superman versus, the Avengers or something? This would do massive numbers. Eric, what are your thoughts on this?
Let's get into it.
Okay.
Let's go. I want a battle.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I've just been told we can't have any more banter, Coach Judge Tadeo. So,
I'm let's to the war, to the gauntlet, right?
To the
Coliseum.
All right, very cool. But before we get to all of that, we have to go over the basics of a Who Would Win match. Now, each debater will make 3 points. Keep in mind that the Who Would Win match is a random encounter in a neutral location with no prior knowledge and no prep time allowed. The debater has to stay within the confines of the character, and when it comes to determining the winner, it's the judge who has the final say and will determine which character lost based on death, incapacitation, or battlefield removal, with no outside interference allowed. Remember, the bottom line in a Who Would Win match is that for one side to get the win, their opponent must be incapacitated for a minimum of 2 minutes where they pose no threat whatsoever. And before we get started, we need to thank our sponsor for today's episode. Yet again, it's Comic Crusaders. Look, if you love comics, pop culture, real conversations with the people actually making the magic happen, you got to check out Comic Crusaders. Comic Crusaders was created by one of my favorite people in the whole world, Al Omega. Al, I missed you at San Diego Comic-Con this year, but I know I'll see you next year. He is one of the great minds in geek culture who does does interviews, reviews, reactions, straight up has the passion for the culture and puts it all on comiccrusaders.com. And here's the best part. Comic Crusaders has been doing this for 20 years strong. That's not hype. That's freaking legacy right there. So if you want to discover your next favorite comic, meet the creators before they blow up and even talk to them after they've made it, or just vibe with a community that actually loves this culture, go to comiccrusaders.com. That's comiccrusaders.com. And now let's get to the tale of the tape for both of our combatants. Eric, please give us the details for Subzero.
Absolutely. So listen, long before he became one of the most feared warriors in the Mortal Kombat universe, Kuai Liang was raised within the Lin Kuei, a secretive clan of assassins that forged its members through brutal discipline and relentless training. Choosing honor over blind obedience, he ultimately transformed the Lin Kuei into a force dedicated to protecting Earth Realm rather than serving as ruthless killers. Gifted with the extraordinary power of cryomancy, Subzero can generate and manipulate ice at will. We know our Sub-Z. Freezing opponents solid, creating deadly weapons and armor, and controlling the battlefield itself. Throughout Mortal Kombat's history, his calm demeanor, unwavering sense of duty, and elite martial arts mastery have allowed him to battle supernatural monsters, ancient sorcerers, rival ninja clans, and gods, earning his place as one of gaming's most iconic and respected warriors.
Well done. Now, here are the details for Gambit. Before he emerged as one of the X-Men's most beloved heroes, Remy LeBeau grew up among the Thieves Guild of New Orleans, where he was raised to become one of the world's greatest burglars, con artists, and escape artists. Blessed with the mutant ability to charge objects with explosive kinetic energy, much like Eric Holmes has after eating those nachos at 7-Eleven that are at least
special.
a week old. I'm just saying, it's like I can't tell where Gambit starts and Eric ends.
And I add the hot chocolate, too. That's, all right, go ahead,
You
continue.
are a monster.
Yeah.
Gambit transforms something as ordinary as a deck of playing cards into one of the deadliest weapons imaginable, combining his powers with extraordinary agility, superhuman reflexes, expert staff fighting, which is pretty cool, and a lifetime of street-smart survival skills. Gambit evolved from an infamous thief into a trusted member of the X-Men. And now you have the facts in both opponents. Tadeo, do you have any questions before we get started?
Absolutely. It's like, who is more gangster? I mean, we got a guy growing up in the streets, a con man.
Of New Orleans, baby.
And right, in a real inner city. And then you got somebody who's in a clandestine assassins clan. Woo, this is going to be pretty gangster. That I got to say.
I mean, this is one of my favorite battles of all time, just because they're so different. And just the conversation that would happen with both of them would be hilarious. Because
cool.
yeah, Gambit's talking in that Cajun fridge, hey, mon ami, and Sub-Zero's like, I don't know what the hell you're saying. You know what I mean? It would be awesome. All right, with that being said, Eric, go ahead and here's your point number one.
I gotta get right to it. I gotta get to Sub-Z's powers, abilities, and versatility. His greatest advantage is complete battlefield control. Unlike many elemental fighters who simply throw projectiles, Sub-Zero's cryomancy fundamentally changes the environment while simultaneously restricting his opponent's movement. So every second Gambit remains within range is another opportunity to become frozen solid. We know this, people. So his cryomancy allows him to instantly freeze opponents, create weapons, armor, walls, shields from ice, launch ice projectiles, freeze incoming attacks, make ice cream, create slippery terrain, immobilize opponents long enough to land devastating follow-up attacks. So I got examples. So in Mortal Kombat X, during the Civil War within the Lin Kuei, Sub-Zero effortlessly demonstrates precision cryomancy against multiple Cyber Lin Kuei and Frost's forces. Rather than simply firing ice blasts, which he easily could have, he instantly creates weapons, barriers, and immobilizes attacks in the middle of combat, showing complete mastery over offensive and defensive applications of his powers. So this, my friend, demonstrates that ice isn't merely an attack. It constantly reshapes the battlefield. Through Mortal Kombat 11, Sub-Zero repeatedly fights characters enhanced with Chronika's timeline manipulations, including Frost and Noob Sabat. Even against opponents who understand his abilities, he consistently lands these freezes that immediately shift momentum, showing that elite fighters still struggle to avoid his cryomancy. Closing this out for you, James, Gambit's explosives are incredibly dangerous. I know you're going to get into that next, I have a feeling. But if Sub-Zero freezes Gambit's hands, staff, or even the ground beneath him before Gambit builds momentum, The fight immediately begins favoring the Lin Kuei Grandmaster, Sub-Z. I know I'm jumping ahead, but I know you're going to come back with some firepower, so I got to get ahead of you. And all that, James, my point number one.
All right, that's some good stuff right there. And I love Subzero. He's my favorite character from Mortal Kombat. But here's the thing. Gambit's fought against people who are cryomancers or sorry, if that's the right term. Yeah. Who use that power of cold and what have you. You know, one of his teammates was Iceman from the X-Men. You know what I mean? He's trained with Iceman in the danger room.
He said, dude, he's going to start early with some stuff.
Yeah. Listen,
Continue.
Okay. Eric, look, on a sidebar, you become insanely good at these debates. Okay. And you know what I do?
Thank you, James.
Right. And I'm like, wait, I'll save this point for point number 3. And when that happens, all of a sudden you've hit me with 3 other things. I'm like, wait, I got to defend myself. So it's just like, no. I'm honoring you with your by acknowledging your capability. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he has fought alongside and against Iceman, who's, by the way, an Omega level mutant when he decides to tap into that power. Just putting that out there. Right. Is he as good of a fighter as Sub-Zero? He's pretty good. I don't know about that, but he's definitely got the ice power, right? Okay, let me get to my point number 1 because I'm awesome. Here we go for Gambit. Okay, let's talk about his mutant ability. This allows him to convert pretty much anything. So he converts like potential energy into explosive kinetic energy, and he turns almost any object into a weapon. We saw him trading cards or playing cards or his trademark. Virtually anything, by the way, he touches can also become a potential bomb. And, things he's done, he can, he's got the explosive playing cards. He can power up his bow staff. So when it hits you, it just absolutely is devastating. He can charge debris and environmental objects. So all of a sudden you were talking about Subzero in the environment. Well, he can do the same thing in the environment. Just lets it charge. Sub-Zero comes and walks 10 seconds later and he's like, wait, it's blowing up. There you go. He's got incredible agility, Olympic level reflexes, expert acrobatics, extraordinary throwing accuracy. And on a really fun side note, by the way, you know what else Gambit can charge with kinetic energy and make it go boom? Ice. Just put that out there. So all of a sudden, ice is coming out. Now, by the way, if ice is thrown at him and he touches it and makes it go boom while it's coming at him full speed, probably not a healthy day for Gambit. I'm just saying ice is something he can potentially use on the battlefield.
Right.
Now, in X-Men number 8, during battles against the Sentinels, these giant, huge King Kong-sized robots that are trying to hunt mutants, Gambit uses nothing more than those playing cards to blast apart the robots, the Sentinels, built specifically to withstand superhuman mutant attacks, right? He's, heads are getting blown off, arms are getting blown off. It's kind of violent. I kind of like it. He's got this ability to destroy armored opponents with tiny projectiles, that go to really cool pinpoint parts on them. So if someone like Iron Man comes at him, he's going to do throw a little card over it like a joint or something. It just shows his accuracy and what he can do to mess things up. In the Gambit solo series, I think it was from 1999, he repeatedly weaponizes whatever happens to be nearby: coins, pipes, bricks, machinery, pieces of collapsing buildings. One of his teeth. This is someone who's not afraid to go there. And by go there, I'm using air quotes. On top of that, his mutant ability allows him to adapt instantly because nearly every object on the battlefield becomes ammunition for something he can throw. This is really cool. There's nothing he can't use as a weapon. He's awesome. Just like James Gavsie. That's my point number 1.
Whew, that's a good start. I mean, also cool. Hey, but James, quick question. Has Gambit ever been an assassin ninja?
No. In fact, he's neither been an assassin ninja nor has he been to 7-Eleven to eat those explosive nachos
and the hot chocolate
to turn himself into an assassin ninja.
There you go.
So
there you
no,
go.
No, right. He has not. I mean, he's also never been to my kitchen, if we want to talk about things he's never been. So
yeah,
all right,
get to that.
But I hear what you're saying. That means I think what you're trying to say is what? That he's not got the fighting ability that Subzero has.
That skill, an assassin ninja capability.
He's more okay. I will give you this. He's known more as a thief, and a con artist and sleight of hand person than
on those back alleys off of Bourbon Street.
What? It's like you've been there.
I've been a lot.
Moving on. So let's go to Judge Tadeo. Judge Tadeo, I've heard one point from both Eric and myself. Where's your head at so far with this battle?
I think it's an interesting concept. The fact that we have somebody who was once a con artist. Can he con his way close enough to the explosive or kinetic energy to explode Subzero? That's what I'm kind of envisioning now. Can he pull this off?
I mean, it turns into a range game, right? Like, how far can you throw a playing card or an object? But we both know that Subzero, not to get into this for Eric, he's got long range attacks. All right, this is actually an intriguing question. All right, let's see what Eric has to say. Hit us with your point number 2.
And thank you, Tadeo, for always raising important questions.
Oh, jeez.
That's why I like you more than James likes you.
I appreciate it. You know what? I'm like Eric.
I'm here for it.
I won't give you a gift certificate from 7-Eleven for free nachos because I care too much about you, Judge Tadeo.
Erewhon certificate is the only thing I'm accepting.
Yeah, I know. I think I can afford some broccoli, and that's about it. But go ahead.
Hint, hint. All right. Well, I will hit you guys with my point number 2. So I want to get into combat skill, strategy, and experience. Sub-Z isn't dangerous simply because he possesses cryomancy. He is arguably one of the greatest martial artists in Mortal Kombat. As Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei, a ninja warrior, the Grandmaster, he combines ninja training, swordsmanship, grappling, tactical discipline, weapon creation, battlefield awareness. It goes on and on and on and on. So in Mortal Kombat X, Sub-Z defeats Scorpion during their duel before ultimately helping end the generations-long blood feud. Scorpion is widely considered one of the deadliest fighters in Mortal Kombat history, making this one of Sub-Zero's signature victories in Mortal Kombat 11. Sub-Z defeats Frost after she attempts to overthrow him as Grandmaster. Frost possesses many of the same cryomancy's techniques, yet Sub-Z, superior in his experience and discipline and tactical decision-making, he proves to be more decisive than Frost. In closing, look, Gambit improvises brilliantly. Sub-Z has spent decades exploiting tiny mistakes from elite assassins and supernatural warriors. Every opening Gambit leaves could become a freezing opportunity. And all that, James, is my point number 2.
All right. So I think here's the thing. I think that's a really strong point. But I want to kind of go back to the training a little bit. So Gambit trains in the Danger Room, which is, according to Marvel, the world's most advanced fight simulation or fight simulator. And they use like advanced alien technology so that they can make any opponent come at you. They can make any environment. It's like a holodeck kind of thing. So that is where the X-Men actually go on their free time and get trained. So what a lot of people don't realize is if the X-Men don't use their powers, they're still insane badasses, right? And can fight insanely well. And that's what Gambit's been doing. Now, never mind combine that with his powers and the fact that he knows how to use them combatively. They're not just like, hey, here's some cool powers. He knows how to fight with them. This is someone who I might actually say is Sub-Zero a superior fighter just in skill? Probably. But I wouldn't say it's by much, and I'll leave it at that. All right, that goes to my point number 2. And for that one, for my point number 2, let's just talk about Gambit a little bit, because before joining the X-Men, Gambit survived as one of the world's greatest thieves. And let me explain why that's important. So this background gave him elite skills in staff fighting, acrobatics, stealth, escape artistry, knife fighting, tactical deception, improvisation. You know, Gambit routinely defeats opponents way stronger than himself because he's just constantly moving and he forces them to make mistakes and he gets into their head. He's also a trash talker. And this is something that's really, really cool. He can misdirect people just using verbal tactics or verbal judo, right? Never mind then positioning them, and then he's already kind of set up a trap for him for something that's going to blow up that's kinetically charged. In Gambit versus Wolverine, this is really cool. They fought each other a number of times. Gambit, you know, he's repeatedly fought Wolverine without being overwhelmed. He's actually got some wins over Wolverine as well, which is really, really cool. And despite Logan's superior healing factor, that physical strength, Gambit's speed, his mobility, his battlefield creativity consistently allow him to survive and gain the upper hand against Wolverine. And this is the key point. This is someone who cheats a lot. So I will say that Sub-Zero is nastier in terms of like fatalities. He's more gruesome. He's going to like do more horrible things to a person when they're fighting. But the problem is Gambit will cheat. He will absolutely try to use deception. He's not afraid of using any type of deceptive tactic. Nothing is beneath him. That's the best part. There's nothing beneath Gambit in order for him to get the win because he has a noble purpose to win. When you have to fight to save people, you're like, I'll do whatever it takes. Not necessarily kill someone, although he will, but to like absolutely cheap shot someone or say, hey, I promise never to hit you in the no danger zone. Then he's going to hit you in the no danger zone. Like, you know, like I did to that guy one time when he wasn't looking. Anyway, the whole point is this is someone who can absolutely get the upper hand and beat more powerful opponents, even ones who are better trained, because he gets in their head, he uses deception, and he doesn't play by anyone's rules. And how do I know that? Because he figures out what his opponent's rules are and learns how to break them. Tactically speaking, using these underhanded kind of things he's doing, that's where I think he shines and has the superior tactics over Subzero. All of that's my point number 2.
Oh, and that's so Gambit getting in people's heads. That's him being that New Orleans con man. Is that right?
That is correct.
Playing head games, manipulation.
Subzero
right?
comes at him, and Gambit's like, all right, I got 3 cups, and there's a ball in one of these cups, and he's just shifting them around, and Subzero's like, I don't know. And all of a sudden, Subzero's like in debt and owes Gambit a lot of money. Like, how does he do? What do you do then? What do you do then? You gonna make some ice? No one's buying ice. You know,
he's just sweating in that Louisiana summer, right?
Right, which is horrible for a cryomancer, by the way.
It's
this
not
is
an
just
ideal environment.
Yeah. By the way, this is writing itself. Go ahead, Eric.
But this is my rebuttal. The only thing with Sub-Z, my friend, you mentioned Gambit's a talker, right? He has a gift of gab. The issue is Sub-Z doesn't talk. so for Gambit to have a chance to converse and get in Sub-Z's head, it's not going to happen. So that's just off the table.
So Sub-Zero's like, mon ami, or Gambit's like, mon ami, viens ici. And Sub-Zero's like, Sub-Zero might like come up with a new fatality. How dare you speak French to me? I don't know what's going on.
I'm sorry, beignet. Ooh, I give you beignet. You want beignet?
Yes.
It's so good. He's like, I don't want a beignet from you. I don't want that. What is that? Get that out of my face. What about some gumbo?
Oh, wait,
I don't want gumbo.
Wow, so, okay, wait. So Sub-Zero's
Cafe
from...
Du Monde. No,
Right.
I don't need to go to Cafe Du Monde on Canal Street. I don't want to go over there. You know?
You sound very cultured for someone, again, I don't know, who loves Burger King. I'm just saying, there's a dichotomy here. I'm not really sure what's happening,
right.
But you're very cultured. So like, I'm jealous.
Freshman, I think. Correction. Cafe Du Monde. But anyways, yes.
Moving on. All right, so listen, Judge Tadeo, we were at the turning point. You've heard 2 points for both Eric and myself. This is where you tell us who is ahead in this battle and what the other side has to do to get the win.
Well, at this point, we have a dishonorable individual versus an honorable one. And in life, I hope that honor wins, but in battles, sometimes dishonor doesn't. So as of now, Gambit has a slight edge because sadly, as we've seen, I'll just leave it as we've seen in in many battles, dishonesty can get you the W.
You're looking off into the distance, right? Like you're peering into your own soul, like recalling events that happened to you.
That's running through his head right now.
I was like expecting, and there I was, a young boy
making a bad decision.
Do I score 5 goals
I told her
on this
she was
person?
just a friend.
Or 10?
I didn't. I said she was just a friend, and she believed it.
Wow, really?
She believed it.
Wow,
I still feel bad. Ish.
Should be fine.
You know what? Bring her a gift certificate from Erewhon.
That is curative.
That is huge. That's huge.
Wow, this is going to be my new playbook. Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, every time I get caught doing something, boom, bam.
Boom,
just
bam,
like
bam.
Gambit, I'm not, instead of kinetic energy, I'm gonna put some cash on it.
There it is. Some
That's what they like.
That always works.
You know, I appreciate that you're dating these high caliber people. That's when cash is what's going to be the deciding. Okay. All right, let's see what's about to happen. It's now or never. Eric, history report number 3.
All right, got to bring it home for Tadeo. So I want to get into Sub-Z's biggest feats and accomplishments. His accomplishments extend far beyond tournament victories, my friend. He repeatedly helps defend Earth realm from extinction while simultaneously rebuilding one of its most dangerous organizations into a force for good. That is the Sub-Z way. So, in Mortal Kombat X, following the death of the original Lin Kuei leadership, Sub-Zero reforms the clan into protectors instead of assassins. This fundamentally changes one of Mortal Kombat's most powerful military organizations while strengthening Earth's defenses. In Mortal Kombat 11, during Kronika's assault on reality itself, Sub-Z fights alongside Raiden, Liu Kang, and Earth's greatest champions against an enemy capable of rewriting time, surviving, and contributing during battles on that scale demonstrates his ability to perform against world-ending threats. Sub-Zero isn't merely a tournament champion. He's repeatedly stood on the front lines, defending an entire realm from magical invasions, gods, and reality-altering enemies. And all that is my point number 3, James.
That is pretty cool. I think the issue with Sub-Zero is that like, who is he? Okay, is he fighting to win a tournament, or is he trying to protect something? I mean, it's a little bit of A, a little bit of B, and I think he's more about just defeating his opponent and being very straightforward. He's not a hard person to figure out, right? He's very straightforward.
He's a good guy.
I don't know if he's a good guy. I think he's just, it's very clear what his motivation is and what direction he's going in. And when you can figure out what your opponent wants and where they're going, that's where you can screw around with them a little bit, right? And I don't think it's necessarily through trash talking. I think it's through misdirection. I think it's feinting, pretending you're beaten, but you're really not, making them look over here when an attack is coming from over there. That is how you beat a Subzero. And by the way, I just described Gambit to a T. So let me get to my point number 3 for Gambit, because Gambit has spent decades proving that raw power and fighting ability isn't necessary to stand beside Marvel's strongest heroes. Now, his greatest accomplishments, they consistently succeed, against impossible odds. He's using his intelligence, his skill, his creativity. In the age of Apocalypse, one of the most devastating villains, very powerful villains in Marvel, the X-Men have to fight him. In this alternate universe, Gambit leads the Externals, it's another team, on high-risk missions against Apocalypse's regime. He survives in one of Marvel's darkest realities while battling enemies vastly stronger than himself. If you can do that, you're pretty amazing. His leadership and adaptability become just as important as his mutant abilities, and that's another testament. He's not all about powers or fighting. He's like, I'm going to play some mind games here. Even if you don't like playing, it doesn't mean you're not involved in what I'm doing, and that's what Gambit does really well. Now, another alternate future counterpart, there's a character he goes to, it's called New Sun, S-U-N, Sun, and he demonstrates the full potential of his mutation after removing all the limitations that he's placed on his powers. And that's the cool thing about Gambit. People don't realize he limits himself because he does value human life, which a lot of people see as a weakness. The problem is when he's fighting someone who he has to take out, who he knows doesn't care about killing or whatever, he's like, got it. I'm going to remove these limitations and put on myself and kind of go to that next level and increase that power. And once he does that, he has the ability to manipulate kinetic energy on a catastrophic scale. That's what they said. So he destroys entire cities. He ultimately destabilizes realities themselves. It reveals that Gambit's powers possess really like an almost unimaginable ceiling if they're just absolutely fully unleashed. And that's the cool thing about Gambit. He doesn't want to go there, but if he has to, because he's facing someone who he thinks might kill his friends or do something horrible, he's going to do it. Subzero, again, he represents discipline, insanely violent discipline that's absolutely perfected, right? That's how I would describe him. But Gambit represents limitless potential wrapped inside one of Marvel's most resourceful fighters. And then when you add the intelligence, the creativity, the battlefield adaptability, very few X-Men are actually more dangerous than Gambit when he decides to increase that power and put all that together. In the end, is Subzero the better trained fighter? Yes. Is he more disgustingly devastating in fight and rip someone's head off? Absolutely. But in terms of upper level power, yeah, Gambit does it and all of a sudden blows away anything Subzero can do. And that's my point number 3.
Gambit, man, we love Gambit, and you represent him very well. Just to bring this all home for our judge here, my rebuttal to that is, you're talking about alternate realities, all right? So this is something that he does every day, okay? These are all one-offs. So that's my rebuttal to that whole very nicely laid out point that you made, James.
Well, the potential's still there. I agree he doesn't do this all the time, but the potential's still there on a daily basis. Yeah. But, all right. Well, let's see what the judge has to say, Eric.
Can he pull it off?
Can he pull it off? Here we go. All right, Judge. Today you've heard 3 points for both Eric and myself. It's time for you to make a decision. Take us through your process. Tell us a story, if you will, and let us know who wins this battle between Gambit and Subzero.
In this episode of Who Would Win, Gambit versus Subzero is, dishonor versus honor, and it's somebody who is a trained assassin with discipline versus somebody who's trained at conning others. So it's quite the battle, and it's an epic good versus evil battle, but it's also well done on the battlefield. So when Gambit sees Subzero and he sees him in his uniform, the discipline, the stoic nature, he just starts going wild. All of a sudden you see him throwing his playing cards in like a non-formation way, and they're just exploding all around Subzero. However, quickly, the ice armor of Subzero thwarts all of his attempts to break through, and Gambit is a little confused because this is not the opponent he expected. All of a sudden, Subzero with a ninja-like stealth, comes around and he throws an ice. And next thing you know, he's actually subduing Gambit because he's freezing him. And Gambit cannot create the kinetic energy because he cannot move. And all of a sudden you hear this ominous voice. Finish him. Yes. And it kind of gets eerie and things get quiet.
Yes, tell me a story. Yes.
Fatality. And I'm a little quivering because I hate to see this, but Subzero, with his abilities as a ninja master, he all of a sudden grabs Gambit by the head and in his spine-ripping move, decides to just rip off his hair and leave him bald. And the cons will end because nobody trusts the bald man. And in this episode of Who Would Win, Sub-Zero freezes Gambit before he can move and create kinetic energy, subdues him, and leaves him there bald and nearly scalped, and is the winner of this epic battle versus good and evil.
Oh, so good.
What in
Yes.
the what did I just listen to? This is kind of real.
Scalping's legal in certain universes. It's illegal in certain in this universe.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even in the States.
I'm gonna disagree
Certain
because if you
states.
can rip hair
Dakotas.
off someone, right, and Gambit can tell he's about to, that means he's not completely frozen. So he rips the hair off. He would charge that hair with kinetic energy. And all of a sudden blow off his hand or whatever. He could kinetically charge the ice and get out of it. Did you not listen to anything I just said, Judge Tadeo?
The judge has spoken.
Gambit
Judge is in the name.
Gambit is just enamored and just shocked by this discipline.
Yes.
He's an anti-disciplinist. He's a con man.
I'm okay. I respect the judge. I'm gonna have to disagree. It's been a while since I this viciously with so much vigor had to disagree with what our normally brilliant judge had to say.
Wow.
But this
still
one I
insulting
completely
and aggressive.
it is. I am completely I'm not disagreeing that you should be the mayor of Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
that
thank you.
everyone should be paying you millions of dollars every year to represent them
you
because you
just
are
saw
the
the
essence
bill,
of everyone.
yeah.
I saw it. But I disagree with what you just said here, but I respect it. But I don't because I disagree. I don't know if you can tell. I'm not really in line with what you said right there. All right, hold on. Eric, you got the win. I'm using air quotes. Congratulations. So tell the Legion of audience how you feel getting a horrible win like this.
Like I said, the judge has spoken. A very sane, a very well thought out, a storyteller, if you will. I'm like, I knew it. I presented it well, and Sub-Z got this. And I love Gambit, but hey, it wasn't his day. Maybe you didn't represent him correctly.
Yeah, I didn't listen to anything you said. Back to Judge Tadeo. Listen, that was I'm kidding. Sometimes you get the win, sometimes you don't. It's okay. And that's part of the process, by the way. That is part of the process. All right. I still loved every second of it. Great job, Eric. Please come back, even despite this horrible one. I'll just call this a one-off.
Always.
But come back to do the Who Would Win show.
I
In the
want
meantime,
you back. I would never insult you.
tell the Legion of Audience, our fan base, where they can find you online.
You can find me online at Cuerpazo.
Very nice. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, now I don't feel bad anymore. He's just so good. All right, Eric, tell Legion of Audience, congratulations again. Tell Legion of Audience where they can find you online.
You can find me at the Eric Holmes. Eric with the C. Let's connect. That's on all my socials. That's TheEric Holmes. All right. HLMES. Okay, go ahead, James.
Very cool. You can find me on X, aka Twitter, and Facebook by typing in at James Gavsie. Find me on Instagram at James Gavsie MMA. You can also find us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Who Would Win Show. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube by going to at Who Would Win Show. Yeah, that's right. Our podcast is on YouTube, and it's only on YouTube, at least for now. On behalf of myself, Eric Holmes, today on the rest of the amazing Who Would Win production team, thank you once again for checking out another episode of Who Would Win. We'll see you next time.